Today in VR, we go through the biggest month in VR history, which is this November. It has Assassin's Creed Nexus, it has Stranger Things VR, it has Demio Battles, it has Power Wash Simulator. The list goes on. So we go through the list of November and tell you what we're super excited for. Elsewhere, Arizona Sunshine 2 has finally got a release date, and we got some gameplay, so we share our hopes and concerns of the game. And then finally, Samson goes into the NBA, sits courtside in VR, and he shares his thoughts on that. So all that and more, so let's talk Oculus. Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus episode 109. I'm your host, as always, Dan from Playtest VR, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always. It's Samson. Samson, how you doing? What's been happening? What's new?
I am doing well. My brother is back in town, and I have gotten him into some VR again. It's been glorious.
Nice. Well, kind of let's start off with that. What have you gotten him into? And is he a big VR player? I know he has the Quest 2, right? So you gave one to him.
I actually gave away the Quest that I gave him to my cousin, and I gave him my old Quest 2 now at this point.
Fair enough. Fair.
He is not really a gamer. Mostly it's a walkabout mini golf machine to him, but I got him to try 11 table tennis for the first time, and he was like, yo, this is the greatest thing I've tried so far.
Really?
And we played out. He's very competitive. We played a lot of table tennis. And originally when I showed him my Quest 3, though, when he came back, I put him in First Encounters, I put him in Dropped at the Cabin, and I put him in Yuki, and he enjoyed all of them. But like I said, in the end, he's like, I'm not going to spend $500 to
that's fair.
Upgrade my walkabout mini golf machine.
It's a hard sell for the Quest 3. In fact, anyone who's just plays maybe Supernatural to get some VR fitness, anyone who just plays walkabout as such, it's hard for anyone to suggest that you should spend out the money for a Quest 3 until the Quest 2 games start getting obsolete, and then some games don't come out of it. It's hard to sell. It's way too expensive for the casual user.
I want to make a little prediction here, I guess. I think that they've just phased out Quest 1 for walkabout, correct? Like this within the last 2 to 3 months, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine you have 3 more years of Quest 2 walkabout mini golf left in it.
I would back you up on that prediction, to be honest. I think you have a lot of time, because I think that there's a big difference in the chip from Quest 2 to Quest 3, but there was an even bigger difference between Quest 2 and Quest 1. And the fact that it's taken this long for them to now, not update it fully and such, and that might be just because it might not even be on their point. It might just be the fact that Meta are just not giving updated SDKs for Quest 1, so they just can't physically support it anymore anyway, even if they had the choice. So it might just be for that, so
that's not to say that I don't think there'll be exclusives for Quest 3 well before then, but I just don't think that it'll be phased out before then.
I think you'll probably...
Maybe 2 years, but 3 years seems more realistic to me.
I think I will be surprised if not by the end of next year you'll have at least one Quest 3 exclusive, Because I think Asgard's Wrath 2 could already potentially be that, but obviously it's too soon, right? It's way too soon. So I think if they announced Asgard's Wrath 2 for next year, next winter, I feel like that would probably be Quest 3 exclusive by that point. But yeah, it is what it is. But that's fine. Anyway, talking about the games today, Samson, is there anything that you've been playing yourself that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. Well, some of those games I played with him, so those wrote those in.
They crossed over, yeah.
Yeah, they crossed over. I've been getting smoked in 11 table tennis online, actually. One game I won, but 2 games absolutely destroyed.
Have you tried the mixed reality?
Yeah, I only play in mixed reality now.
Nice. I guess,
Yeah.
right, the reason's probably because of the safety features of you know exactly where you are, and do you have enough like length in your house to
Oh,
like
I've
have
got
the
enough
table?
length.
Yeah, I realized that when as soon as I said it.
There's enough width too.
There's enough width. Okay, to table tennis. Fair enough. But are you preferring it in mixed reality? Is it more just because of the safety feature, or is it just generally just a better experience?
I think I feel like the tracking is slightly worse sometimes, and I'm not sure if it's because of that or if it's because I'm on my Quest 3 controllers now still.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's just way safer. I'm not at risk of hitting anything, so I'm gonna take that.
So the question is, right? How do they bring a game like Gorn to mixed reality, which will be very
Gorn.
helpful? Well, yeah, because Gorn is a quote unquote.
Oh,
It's a game that
dangerous.
a lot of people smack their controllers, break walls, and such because you are it's ragdoll. You are going in the gladiator arena. How do you make that
Gorn
more
is easy
safer?
to do. Gorn is easy to do, Dan. You do
Yeah.
it like kind of like how Drop Dead the Cabin has you put a door and a window where the enemies come. You just have to put an area where the enemies are going to come in Gorn. You have to mark out your safe area, if you will, and then they'll only come in that area, and then you can kill them in waves. Gorn is like a wave, you know. Like,
Yeah, I guess you're right. It'd be similar, maybe like Thrill of the Fight, how they do. You know how
yeah,
you map the track out, or you map your guardian out, and it kind of matches to that, right? So then the AI never comes at you from outside that guardian or anything like that.
precisely.
For sure, I would be cool if you
So
could have like a actual ring, you know, because I know Thrill of the Fight doesn't put a ring in there. You just the ref just gets in there, mixed reality and such. It'd be cool if you could do a ring that you actually step into.
I mean, there's a red boundary of ring, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah. I mean, like a wrestling ring, like a boxing ring, like an actual full on. You can see the actual ring that you can get into. Or do you have that?
In Thrill the Fight, aren't
Yeah.
you in a ring? Don't you
Yeah, in
see
mixed
the?
reality, I mean, in mixed reality.
Oh, I think there's something around you. You don't
Okay,
just see
fair
nothing.
enough. Yeah, fair enough. I
I
obviously
forget
haven't
though. I'm
jumped
gonna have
into
to
it.
hop in. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
hop in again.
fair enough, fair enough. I thought you
It's
when
too
you were boxing
immersive.
on the street, you were there was no ring around you, but hey,
Yeah, I'm gonna
it
have to
is what it
double
is.
check. I thought I saw it, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was
Fair
just
enough.
there in my head. It was like the phantom touch. But yeah,
Maybe.
I've gotten into a few other things. I'm going to mention Paintball Playground. It's a free App Lab game, and it's bare bones right now, but it feels pretty good to shoot the paintballs. So
Yeah. Like
I do
what what's
like
it
Rec
like?
Room Paintball, but yeah,
I was about to mention, like, what's it like compared to Rec Room Paintball? Is it kind of pretty much the same thing, or is it a little
I mean
different?
I didn't hop into a multiplayer match, so I'm not sure what those entail, but
Sure.
it's more realistic.
Oh,
It's
okay.
you got the whatever I don't know what you call the big puffed up things that you get behind when you're playing paintball, but
Varies.
it looks like real paintball out there.
Yeah, I hope that it gets B haptic support one day because the I remember real paintballing hurts,
Yeah,
and those will be some intense haptics, which will be funny in paintball VR for sure. For sure.
um, yeah, that it's early. It's early in that one, but yeah,
Fair
you
enough.
can hop in with friends and it's free, so may as well try it if you want to shoot some paintballs.
Nice, nice.
Um, so I played some more Dungeons of Eternity, Dan.
Yep, yep.
Still pretty hooked. Still running dungeons. The bees, I think, are bugged. The
The bees.
bees, yeah, you can't get the big bees when they come attack you. You can't get away, and they just keep hitting you. So yeah,
You see,
I'm sure get it patched out.
this game is probably pushing me away more and more as I'm hearing from you because there's this big spiders involved. There's bees. I heard there's bats. Like this is just an insect slash rodent kind of
Scorpions.
stimulus. Scott, like what are we playing here? What are we playing? There's
There's
Dungeons of
also
Insects.
skeletons. Also skeletons
Fair
and
enough.
mages, skeleton mages as well.
Fair enough. I did see that you can now get rid of the spiders if you wanted to
Well,
turn off spiders, or there's like certain realms that don't have
yeah,
spiders.
there's certain realms, that don't have the spiders, I believe. Yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough. So potentially more accessible, but maybe not.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I don't know that you'd be able to take it if you're an arachnophobe, but yeah, it's quite fun. It's quite fun.
have you played a bunch of that just on your own?
Yes.
And how is it? How is it solo? Is it? Can you play it solo and still have a really good time compared to co-op?
I think so. I think so. The sound design is fantastic in this game, Dan.
Yeah.
And it just feels good. It scales, so solo there are fewer enemies, I think. I do particular types of runs solo, where the loot runs I like to do with a friend, the exo runs I like to do solo.
Nice. Fair enough. Yeah, I was wondering if it was a game similar to, I mean, Ghostbusters we'll talk about in part 2, where it's pretty much the whole game is co-op. Like there is a single player element, but it's more of an afterthought, right? You can have a single player, but you're not going to have the enjoyment as you would if you were.
I mean, the game
friends.
is identical solo or not solo. It's just scaled up to be with co-op. So if you're somebody who prefers to play alone, you could totally run this game alone. If you're somebody who wants to only play with people, you could also do that. I'm somebody who generally prefers to play with someone, so that's how I'm trying to play this game. That's how I enjoy it. But I've enjoyed the solo runs I've done, and I imagine if that's the only way you'd like to play games, then you could find some some enjoyment in this too.
That's good to know. That's good.
There's no like story. You're just like doing runs. So if you enjoy the act of randomly getting weapons, cosmetics, and the whatnot while killing enemies, and sort of you go through smaller rooms and then fight larger bosses, if you will. It's a fun loop.
Yeah, and the gameplay loop is it repetitive at all, or is it just constantly changing? So it's not. It keeps
What changes are the dungeons change, are procedurally generated. So, and the enemies will change. There's not a super wide variety of enemies, but there's a good enough range of enemies, I'd say.
Fair enough. And then I know you can like equip 3 different types of weapons, right? So you can probably go bow and arrow, or you could, use your sword or such. So there's a few things that you can do with ice arrows and all that stuff. So I guess your weapon.
It's a lot of weapons.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's still. I don't think it's a game for me, but I see that it's incredibly popular amongst the community right now. It's a game that a lot of people are playing.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah.
So Dan, I've also hopped into Les Mills a little bit, and I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah, fair enough. Les Mills body combat, right? Are you doing it in mixed reality? Are you doing it in VR?
No, just doing it in VR. You're not moving too much in this. I'm just on my mat.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What do you like about it? Because obviously you've played Power Beats, you've played Supernatural. I'm not sure if you played Fit XR before. But what do you like about this one?
I don't think I've played Power Beats, but I kind of enjoyed this one. I think I like this one more than Supernatural.
Yeah.
But I haven't done all of them. I mostly have done the hit workouts. They're pretty short. Honestly, I'm pretty intimidated by a 15 to 20 minute one. I've been trying to keep them under 10 minutes. I get a good sweat on.
Yeah. I get a sweat on just doing. I had to reset my Quest 3 completely just because I've completely restore it because I think I spoke about it last week on last week's show, but it just wouldn't let me play anything. It kept asking me to put a code in, and it just won't work. So I had to reset it, and then now it's back working fine.
Nice.
But then I was going to go into a workout, and Supernatural says it needs to link to my phone again, and I'm like, my phone's in the other room. I was like, I don't have much time. Let me friction, right? So I was like, let me just quickly do the other one. So I went to Les Mills because I had it already ready to go, and yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it.
It's good
too. Yeah. It's actually pretty for $30, and it's no subscription or anything.
That's Canadian, I think. I think it's 20.
Actually, yeah, I think that is Canadian. For $20 or $25, how much ever it is, it's a really good package. and I would highly recommend it. And I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check on this, but I think that it works worldwide as well. It's not like a Supernatural's only in North America, and it doesn't work when you're outside of North America. So if you haven't tried it and you're looking for a fitness app without any subscriptions and such, then definitely I recommend it too. I have a good time with it. That and Supernatural is kind of the ones that I keep going back and forth. But I still want to try Light Sport as well.
If you're looking for 25% off, I think there's a code in the description here.
Yes. For any of you listening, as you may know now after the last 3 or 4 episodes, there is a Google Doc in the description of all of Samson's codes, because he buys probably about 90% of the Oculus library. So it's a few too many. So he's buying it for the people. He's buying it for the 25% codes, so he can help you. So feel free to use the use any 25% links in the Google Doc below. For sure.
Dan, have you hopped in? You want to talk about? You want to mix it up a little?
Yeah, let's mix it up a little bit. So I think at the end of last week's show, Journey to the Foundation was coming out, and I said, okay, I'll have Journey to Foundation. I already got it early, but I still haven't played it because I can't get away from the 7th Guest VR. I'm now 50% in. When I spoke to you last week, I was about 12 or 13% in. So I've made progress, and I've been so addicted to this game where literally any 15 minutes I have, I'm hopping into it, and doing a room or trying to get.
How are the puzzles? You able to solve them all? You using clues?
No, so the way it works is that each room has about maybe 3 puzzles, and basically you have to do all 3 puzzles to work out the 4th puzzle potentially. Okay, so there's like the master puzzle, but you need to find the little puzzles first to get to the last puzzle and such. And it scales. So like at the start, so the first round, basically, the rooms are fairly straightforward. There was this one puzzle that was really odd to me. Basically, it was a typewriter, but some of the keys were missing. So it was like a numbered typewriter. So like a cashier register in a way. And essentially some of the numbers were missing. So it was 1 to 9, but you might have numbers 1, 3, and 4 available to you. Okay. And you had to make up this number that was on the side. Okay. It was on a check. And essentially what you would do, and I'll see if I can try and explain this. I tried to explain this to someone else the other day, and they didn't.
Sounds like spoilers here.
It's not a spoiler at all. No, it's just how the puzzle is. Basically, so you have 4, 3, and 1 available. Okay. And you need to make the number 6. Okay. If you press 4, it goes up to 4. If you press 3, it goes up to 7. If you press 1, it goes up to 8. If you press 1 again, it will go back down to 7. If you press 4 again, it will go back down. We go 3 again, it goes back down. So you press it once to go forward, once to go back down.
It's a math puzzle.
It's a math puzzle. Now, I got all of the numbers apart from that one, the one that says 4, 3, 1. So you had 4, 3, 1 available, and you had to make 6. And I spent so long on it, I couldn't do it to save my life. So I was like, you know what? I gotta realize how to do this. So basically, you can use hints in the game, but you pick up coins throughout the rooms, and basically a coin will let you solve a puzzle if you want to. Okay, so you don't really want to do this because obviously spoils the game. But I was like, I can't get it. So I pressed the solve, and it solved it for me. But it didn't tell me what it was. It just solved it. It just gave me the next clue to take to the next one.
You said, "Nice job."
Yeah, that's all it said. And then I went to Gamertag's walkthrough because he did like a 2-hour walkthrough. And I was like, okay, let me see what he did. And he did the same thing. He got stuck, so he pressed solve, and it gave him the thing. And then I looked at someone else's, and it was some weird glitch. Like if you, on a different number scale, if you were to press 2 numbers together, it added an extra 1 onto the puzzle that you meant to do. So I was like, I was never, ever going to get that because it felt more like... It felt like more like a bug than anything, or like, it was something that wasn't... It wasn't more of a puzzle. It was more like luck that you would get it, to be honest. So apart from that, every single one since then, I've done all myself, okay? And I've taken time. Like there was the one... My favorite puzzle so far was there's a chessboard, okay? And actually... folks at home, you could do this at home if you have a chessboard, okay? So you have a chessboard, and this was the final puzzle, so I did all the other ones, okay, in the room. You had a chessboard, and you had 8 queens, okay? 8 queens.
That's a lot of queens.
And essentially, you had to put the queens on the board without any of them touching each other. So, for example, but the queens can move forward, backwards, left, right, diagonally as much as they want. You need to put the queens on the chessboard without any of the queens.
When you put down a queen, can you see where it's going on the? Does it map it out for you?
No, it doesn't map it out for you. And 2 of the queens are in specific spots. So in fact, actually, you can't really do this at home because you'll need to know exactly where the starting specific spots are, because that changes things too. If you could do it yourself, then it is actually a little bit easier. I kept, you could do 7 quite easily, but then the 8th only can go into one spot and it's in the wrong spot and such. And it took me ages, and I had to basically stop the game. And the next day in the morning, it was a Saturday morning, and I made a cup of coffee, and I literally on my kitchen counter got the chessboard out and put 8 pawns on the chessboard, and I was just trying to work it out for ages. And then my partner came in, and she kept, this is like 8 a.m. in the morning, right? And this is the first thing I was like, I gotta solve this. And then finally I got it, and I went into the game and realized my chessboard was flipped. So I had to try and map it backwards.
The inverse,
the inverse, and it worked, and it got it, and it's so satisfying. And I actually haven't played it since then because I was busy yesterday. But I'm gonna hop in later today, and that was probably my favorite one so far in terms of it was a puzzle that you could do outside the game, and try and solve it, and it's so satisfying. And it's a game. The 7th Guest VR is probably one of my favorite VR games that I've ever played, just because it's one of those games that I keep coming back to, that I haven't done that in any game for a very long time, that I just, any moment I have, I just want to hop in. And it's so suited for that as well, because, each room has like I said, 3 different puzzles or so. So you can go in, do either 1 puzzle or 2, and then get out and then come back to it. And it keeps auto-saving.
It'll save.
Yeah, it keeps auto-saving every moment you have. So you're never going to lose any progress, and it's great. It's really, really good. There's a lot of fun ones in there. You went into the kitchen and you had to make up the stew, and you had to find all the items and grind the meat and such. And it was all really cool. And then I got into the cellar, and I was like, okay, this felt scary. There was 2 pigs being hung, and someone said of the narrator's voice made a scary laugh, shall we say, like a haunted laugh. And I was like, uh-oh, we're finding the scary bits. And then I found one of those coins where you have to pick up to use for hints, and a spider was right there. And
boy,
that's the thing. So it was a spider, and the coin was right in front of it. And I was like, uh-oh. And then when you shine the light on it to show its past form, it just jumps, but stays where it is, but just jumps up a little bit. And I'm like, I said, I don't need this coin. I have 8 coins already. I don't need this right now. And so I left and I went to a different room. But I'm really loving it. To just build on what I said last week, it's a fantastic puzzle game. It's not too difficult, but it's enough just to keep you going. And I'm having a great time, and I would highly recommend it if anyone's into a puzzle game that's not going to be too difficult, right? They're kind of simple. I feel like I'll get stuck. You're going to get stuck, of course. You might get stuck, but all the puzzles are fairly simple. One of them was, those kind of puzzles that you can buy where it's like a picture and one square is missing, and you have to keep shifting the squares to kind of make the picture.
Yeah.
You had that, but basically it was a casket, and you had to get the casket into the fire, and you shift all the other caskets to make space for it to go into the fire. And that took me ages, but the puzzles itself are really simple in terms of what they are. It's not complex. I need to go and do this, then I need to go and do that. I need to leave. And everything's contained in this one room. Yeah, so you don't have to think about stuff. It's not like playing the Myst, for example, where you have to write things down and remember it from islands away, or such.
They're isolated.
Isolated puzzles is really fun. Highly recommend. Nice. But yeah, nice. But back to you. I haven't played anything else really, so it's back to you.
All right. I got it. Synth Riders Halloween update. It's a swing song. It's pretty good. Nice and spooky-licious, if you will. Recommend hopping in. It's free, I believe.
Yes, it
Also,
is free. Yeah.
speaking of free Halloween updates, I hopped into real briefly, Real VR Fishing, and it's got a new location that's a spooky vibe. I liked it. I don't think I was advanced enough. I tried to catch a fish and it broke my reel, and I was like, screw this, I'm out of here. This is too spooky.
Fair enough.
Smash Drums finally got the DLC. Loving it, Dan. It's super good. Super good.
Yeah, I had a good time with it last week. I haven't played it since, but it's really nice, like I said last week, just to have licensed songs. It makes a big difference
Yeah.
to do songs that you know.
Roxanne! And I picked up Cybrix because it has mixed reality support. First of all, it is like Brick Breaker, kind of. So you set it against your wall, and then it goes back, and you have a racket, and you're hitting the ball, and you're trying to break things, right?
Right.
But for some reason, in the mixed reality, it wants you in my mind is too close to your wall to like be in the zone, the proper zone to hit it. Otherwise, it doesn't count. So, yeah, I don't really understand the scoring yet.
Oh.
No, I think it's on main store. Cybrix.
Oh, okay. Cybrix. Yep. Yeah, I've not heard of that one.
Cybrix. It's possible it's App Lab, but I think it's main store. I still can't see the dang Halloween sale. Don't know why.
Yeah, so like mention that. What happened there? Because I remember you having store issues already in terms of you had the Rock DLC and such you couldn't see, and they were fixing that because some people on the East Coast, for example, didn't see. And now you were mentioning in the Discord that the whole Halloween sale, which is up to 40% off in a lot of games, is actually a solid sale. You can't see it at all. It's not on your store whatsoever.
I can't see it at all, Dan.
Have you just bought every game on the Halloween sale and then like forget it?
Absolutely not. I was thinking about Grid Legends at 40% off, and there was one other one I was thinking about too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I was gonna pick up anything. They sent me like a 25% code as well to buy anything. Those kind of codes are now obsolete because I feel like your Google Doc has everything that I'd want to buy.
Well, I got a 30% off Moss code that I posted in the Discord, I believe. Yeah. I'm not sure anybody's taken it yet.
A couple of highlights though on the Autumn Fright sale that you can obviously not get. This sale's now over if you're listening to this, but Red Matter 2 was 38%. Which is something that I was considering picking up, but I was like, the thing is with these sales, they're always going to be on sale, you know, like Walking Dead Chapter 2 was 28% off, which was cool. Hubris was on, like there was a lot of big games on here, Bone Lab, for example, as well, that when Christmas sale comes along or Black Friday sale at the end of November, most of these games are probably going to be on sale as well. So if you've missed the sale, don't worry too much.
Yeah, definitely don't worry too much, but 25% off and more is probably worth picking up. Anything less, probably not worth picking up. Speaking of, Pavlov right now is 25% off pre-order. So if you're interested in that, that's the largest pre-order discount, I think, ever on the Meta Store. And you get, I think, one of the things you definitely get is a limited pre-order skin that you'll only be able to get in this pre-order. If you're interested.
Yeah.
Really realistic gunplay. It's a multiplayer. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, just looking at the sale, and there's a game called Kill It With Fire where you hunt down and murder spiders. Like, what a stupid game. Yeah. Anyway.
No, that game seems great. All right, so I hopped in Pop 1 Thursday night with Hack and Void, and we got smoked. We got absolutely smoked. We were playing some really good players somehow, and to another night of Pop 1.
Fair enough.
Breachers Friday, we filled a whole lobby for 1 or 2 games, but then we tried to play 5 in a public for at least a little bit. We didn't end up playing it, but we waited for 5 to 10 minutes and got nobody, so I'm not sure if the public lobbies are a little vacant there.
There are a lot of games that have been out in October. Like, we've had some big games, and like I said, we'll talk about Ghostbusters in the next part, but Like, there's a lot of games that have come out, so maybe people are
It's true.
occupied. You know,
Yeah, occupied.
maybe they're occupied.
Dan. So little known fact: I used to play goalkeeper. Back in the day in my childhood, from the age of like 10 to 25, and
That's a big range, but sure.
yeah, I mean from childhood through high school to
225, yeah,
college to
fair,
men's
fair.
leagues.
Wow, so you played goalkeeper for a long time.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. That's surprised. When you said childhood, I thought you were gonna say like 10 till 16 or something, and then you
No,
10 to 25. I was like, okay, fair.
no,
A lot
it
of
was
your
a
life
long
you've been
time.
playing
It
goalkeeper.
was a long time,
fair.
yeah. So I saw there was a goalkeeper game called Clean Sheet, so
Correct.
I picked it up, and it feels it gave me a nice nostalgic feel. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this feels kind of good. I want to take it to a field, but it's raining today, so I wasn't able to take it out.
You're gonna try and dive with your Quest 3?
Hell no, I'm not going to try to dive. But I was playing just in my living room, and you can change the size of the goal, and to make it fit in my living room, it's like I'm playing on a goal for 6-year-olds. So obviously, none of them scored, right?
Yeah.
But it still felt pretty good. And for some reason, though, it's a complete. Unless you really want to play goalkeeper, do not get this. I'd say there's not much depth. Not sure what the multiplayer entails. There's like a training mode where you can practice punching, catching, throwing, and then there's situations like they run set plays and you try to defend them real quick. And then there's one where you're just doing reflexes where a bunch of circles are shooting at you and it changes speed and where they're shooting at you from.
Nice.
But then there's 4 DLCs of content that just seem like they should be a part of the game. It's a $20 game, and then they're offering headers for $2 and penalty kicks for $2 and like corners for $2 and set plays for $2, I think.
So hold on. So you're still the goalkeeper, but there are different methods of people trying to score against you?
I believe so.
That's weird. That should just be included.
Yeah.
That's really odd. I thought you were about to say headers, like it has. You can also header. You could be the attacker and header the ball.
No, sir.
Like
sir.
Headmaster, or the game that was on PlayStation VR 1 and PC. I love that game. It was so much fun. But I guess not.
It's not like that. No.
No, that's a weird. That's really odd. But I've heard good things about this game too. I've looked at it, and I think it just came out on the store because it was an app lab for a while, and I think it's just actually made it onto the store itself. And I think it came out when the Quest 3 just came out. Actually, it did. Yeah. But
so
does it test your fitness? Because fitness is a big thing about this one as well. But does it?
Well, that's the thing. I think I need to play in a bigger space,
goal.
like outside, because I'm not. Fair. I mean, I had to move from side to side, but not far.
That's fair. And is it hand tracking or is it with the controllers?
I use the controllers. Yeah, I believe it's only controllers.
Oh, it's a shame. So you can't wear your gloves.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna have a quick look here, and it's only touch controllers only, which is fine. That actually works better sometimes. Hand tracking is sometimes not as great. So but an option would be nice.
Thanks.
Fair enough. Did you play any more NFL, by the way?
No,
Speaking
not
of
yet.
hand throwing games.
I'm not. Nope.
No. Fair enough. Anything else then? Anything else?
At last, I played X Stadium, and by played I mean more hopped in the experience of X Stadium, where you can watch 50 NBA games this season, now 48, I believe. And it felt pretty good to watch the game. It was 180 degrees. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they cut off the 3-point line, or it's like if somebody's in the 3-point corner, you can't really see it, but there's okay. Don't fret. There's a Jumbotron up there that you can watch, and it's literally the actual Jumbotron from the stadium, but like digitally made even bigger and better to see. And really the best part of these games are halftime, because it shows the whole game. It doesn't cut to commercials. So you get to watch the halftime show. Timeouts are kind of fun. You get to watch the dunkers that do the trampoline dunks, etc.
It's like you're actually in the stadium. You get to see all of that.
100%.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's cool.
Exactly.
That's fun.
Those are the most fun parts. Yeah.
Only available in the US, by the way. I was kind of sad because I downloaded X Stadium or Xtadium. Xtadium? Yeah, X Stadium. X Stadium? Yeah, because it's an X instead of the S. Anyway, I downloaded it and it said it's not available in Canada. Only US. It's only US, unfortunately. So I didn't get to try it out. But you sat.
Really? That stinks.
So obviously you can sit courtside. Can you sit anywhere else?
I didn't really see a way to choose where I sat, but it moves you around appropriately. So a free throw, it moves you behind the hoop. Most of the game, you're right at center court.
Got it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Would you hop back in? Like, was the quality pretty good?
Quality is pretty good. Hard time. It depends on your internet, I believe. Like when it was, sometimes when it was playing, it was the player jersey name. Like I could tell that they were different letters, but I couldn't necessarily tell what it was pixelated enough that I couldn't really read the name. I could always tell the number. But there were other times where it was very clear and I could read it.
And could you have multiplayer in terms of can someone come in with you and watch the game with you, or is that not?
Yeah, you can. And I did try that, but I was just with my brother who's with me also. So I hopped out of it pretty quick.
Fair enough.
So it seemed like he was a tiny little avatar and I still was just watching the game, but we could like voice chat. That's what it seemed like it was.
Okay, fair enough. That's still better than nothing. I remember I'm not sure if the Sky Sports one in the UK offers where you can see each other's avatar. I can't remember, but when BBC did it for the World Cup back in 2018, that one was really cool because you could actually see, that was on PlayStation VR, and you could actually see the person next to you, and it looked like you're conversing while watching it.
In Horizon when I tried it, I believe.
Yeah. That makes sense. We'll get to that part in the news, actually, because that makes sense. Real quick, before we get into the games that are out this November, because we've got a great month. Just to follow up on what I was speaking about last week about the straps. So if you didn't check out last week, AMVR sent me 2 different Knuckle straps, and I was testing them. I went through them a little bit in the last week's podcast, but by the time you listen to that last week podcast, I also picked up the official ones. So I got the official ones as well now. So I've been testing all 3, and I am working on a YouTube video. I've actually filmed it. I just need to finish it off about a full review for all 3 of these. But to give you the quick bullet point things, in the end of the day, the official straps aren't that bad, but they are $40, and the rest of them are $30 and such. I feel like the Velcro's kind of off-putting on your wrist. It kind of scratches your wrist, and it's the same Velcro that's on an Apple Watch, like I have on my wrist, and it doesn't affect you on the Apple Watch just because it's just stationary. And I think because it's angled on the top of your hand, it does kind of rub on it. And I felt as well that you needed to tighten it a little bit more on your hands with the official Quest straps, where on the AMVR ones you could let them a bit more loose, and they're still good. You don't have to over tighten them as well, and obviously, like Samson, like you mentioned when you got them, it is annoying not having the bottom straps, the wrist straps available to you, because then you have to take the controller off. The main thing is actually it's not taking them off. What's annoying for me is that when you're about to go in a play session, it's nice to have your controllers on your wrist, as you're walking into your play space.
Yeah, that's exactly it when you're starting. Yeah.
When you're starting, and then you put your headset on, and then you finish off putting your controllers on. But this time you have to lay your controllers on the floor or something, because having them on whilst putting your headset on, you can't really do.
It's cumbersome.
It's very cumbersome. So I would not recommend the official ones. I would in terms of the 2 I had for AMVR, the AMVR ones that just go over the battery cover, so not the grip ones. They're both $30, so it really depends on if you just want a full grip controller or you want just the battery cover. I really like the battery cover one because it's sleek and it still looks really good, and it kind of matches with the Quest really nice.
Are you going to return the other ones?
I'm going to return the official one. The grip one, I mean, I got this sent to me, so I just have it now. Maybe I'll try and give it away to a viewer, to be honest. The grip ones are actually really good for sweatiness. So if you're like playing, so I was playing Lee Mills Body Combat, and I was playing for the YouTube video. I was like playing it in all three of these controller configurations. So by the time I got to the grip one, I was already pretty sweaty, and I realized because of the grippy texture on it, even though you're sweaty, it's you still have a lot of grip. So it kind of works essentially. I thought because of having the grip controller, it actually makes your hands a bit more hot and such and sweaty, but it actually just keeps it keeps you
Yeah,
gripped on really well, which is really nice.
that's interesting. I would
So
have thought
yeah,
it'd be more uncomfortable.
I didn't think I'd like the grip ones at all because I'm not a big fan of grip controllers, the like putting a skin on the top of a controller
Yeah,
at all. But I actually thought they were pretty solid, to be honest. I still would prefer the ones that just do the battery cover because I just like how sleek they look. But honestly, the grip ones are actually pretty solid. So if you're a person who prefers the grip kind of controllers, then definitely going for the AMVR. I believe both of them are $30. It just depends on which one you want on Amazon. And then the MetaQuest ones are $40. $40 USD is what I said. So in terms of like all of the official accessories, the MetaQuest ones for the knuckle straps aren't actually terrible because they're not that expensive. It's the other ones that are like really, really expensive. And I know I have the Bobo strap coming soon. I think the company beginning with Z, who I forgot who they're called, Live Over Mike uses that strap. Because of Z, I can't
yeah, I
remember.
forget. Yeah, I forget as well. That's
Yeah,
actually all I remember too. Is the Zed.
so
Zed's
they
dead, baby.
said, so they're also sending me one of their straps too. So in the next week or two, hopefully I get both of them and I'll compare it to the Elite strap. And I'll probably buy the battery strap too, just to compare, just to see how it all works together. But in terms of the knuckle grips, I know this is going to be a quick one, but just to wrap it up here, go for the AMVR ones over the Quest ones. They're a little bit cheaper. The only reason why you wouldn't buy them is if you had the official dock, because they don't work with the dock because of the grips. Even on the one that's just the battery door, because the battery door is more of a grip texture. So
Dan,
that,
I wish that dock was cheaper.
yeah, me too. Me too. I actually don't mind too much because the way I've got it set up on my, I have a little side table from IKEA. If you type in IKEA mom side table, you know exactly what side table I have.
Mom?
Yeah, MALM. MALM. It's one of the most common side tables from IKEA. Basically, I have it set up on that, so I just have the Quest there, the two controllers on the side, and I have the other plug socket right next to it. So I just have it ready to go to charge. So I actually don't mind not having the dock. It actually works pretty fine,
Yeah.
and the controllers are going to last a long time anyway. But yeah, I do wish it was cheaper as well. But all right, so let's before we finish off part one here. November's a big month. November's a big month. We had a big month in October. We had games like The Seventh Guest, Ghostbusters. We've got the Foglands coming out. We have Journey to Foundation. We have I think that's the three big games, but obviously you got the Quest 3 launching as well. But November, it doesn't stop.
Assassin's Creed, dude. I can't wait.
Yeah. So November it doesn't stop. So let's kind of go through the list here, and we'll go like week by week here. So on November the 2nd, we have Vampire the Masquerade Justice, and we also have Power Wash Simulator. Now I'm not sure, Samson, do you have Vampire the Masquerade?
No, Dan, I've pre-ordered both of these, so.
Okay, I have it. I just haven't played it because of Seventh Guest. But I will play it, I promise, for next week so I can get into it. But Power Wash Simulator, I'm pretty sure, Samson, you are pumped for because you've been wanting this game in VR
I'm very
ever since
excited.
it
And
came out.
I know Gilman, a friend of the show, is also very excited. He's put a lot of time into the flat version. And Dan, I see that there's a Back to the Future DLC, and I hope all the DLC
Whoa.
comes also to the VR one. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to burn some time in this.
Wait. There's a Back to the Future DLC. What does that even entail? Do you just go into
Maybe you clean
Hilldale?
the
Or?
DeLorean.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm just looking now. You get to clean the DeLorean. You get to clean the. What a weird. what a completely weird out there DLC. Like, why are they Back to the Future
Why
and
not?
Power Wash Simulator? What a weird. You get to do the Jaws 3D or 19 in the actual movie. You get to clean the clock tower. So, you know what? If this DLC comes to the VR version, I will buy the
You'll
VR
do
version
it?
for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just to have some Back to the Future in my life. I'm a big Back to the Future fan, so I would absolutely do that. But that's cool. I never knew. I'm assuming the DLCs aren't coming right at launch, right? I'm assuming it's just the main game.
I do not know, quite honestly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then Vampire the Masquerade, like I said, we'll talk about it next week when we have played it. But the gameplay rundowns, which they've been putting out on YouTube, if you just type in Vampire the Masquerade gameplay, I'm sure you'll see what I'm talking about. It does look really fun. It does look really fun.
It's gotten pretty good hits on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, it's a weird title, Vampire the Masquerade Justice, and it's a title that makes me think the game is crap because it's one of those. But I don't know if it's gonna match it. I feel like it might be a pretty good game, but like I said,
yeah,
we'll discuss next week. And then the week after, November 9th, we have Demio Battles, Stride Fates, and also Ziggy's Cosmic Adventure. Samson, obviously, for you, as a big Demio fan, this is more like a bite-sized Demio experience. Are you pumped for this one?
Yes, I'm excited for Demio. Stride it's pretty good. I love cool movement. I don't think I'm going to get it. It's a story-based game with Stride movement.
Yeah.
It sounds cool. If you're into that, get it. I wish it was a part of the first game, Ziggy's Cosmic Adventure, I don't know much about, but I did have a friend in middle school named Ziggy, and he was kind of a wild guy.
Ziggy's Cosmic Adventure, I believe, is a game where you have your spaceship and you have to kind of fix it up. And such, so that some of your spaceship is broken down and such, and you have to use items in there to try and fix it up or fix the issues that are happening in your spaceship and such. I believe that's Ziggy's Cosmic Adventure. Stride I've actually not played before. I do have it as well, and so I'll talk about it when obviously on November 9th and such, but I have never played Stride, but it looked like a Mirror's Edge kind of feel to it. It looked pure motion sickness, but I will come back to that. And Demio Battles,
I know, it's got a vignette.
Fair dues. And then Demio Battles, I am pumped for this one. I haven't played this one yet, but I am pumped for this one because of that short form. Like I don't really play Demio just because of how long the game is and such, and I know I got people who could play, obviously you, but lots of people in the Discord. I know PJ VR Verdict plays it a lot and such, but it's just too long. So a shorter form Demio experience I'm definitely excited for.
Definitely.
The week after, we just have one. We have Pavlov Shack, obviously a game that's been on SideQuest and such for a long time and already has a massive following and is on PC, PSVR 2 already.
But it's not cross-play with those.
Interesting. That's good to know. Do you play Pavlov at all?
No. It's a bit too realistic for me. The gunplay and all that. But it is, it's got a base.
It's got a base. And then a couple of days after Pavlov, which is November 14th for some reason, not November 16th, is the big one. And that's Assassin's Creed Nexus. And a couple episodes ago, we spoke highly about, we went through the gameplay impressions that Upload VR put in. So definitely have a check out that show if you want to hear more on our thoughts of it. But just a quick one. I'm pumped for this one. That's why I'm trying to get Seventh Guest done. So I know I'm going to be in this game. If it lives up to the hype of what I'm hearing from a lot of people, this has been another game that I'm going to go back to quite often, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited to play through for sure.
Are you planning to finish it?
Yeah, well, hopefully so. Hopefully so. And then to round off the end of the month, we have Stranger Things VR, Cookie Run the Darkest Night, and potentially Attack on the Titan VR Unbreakable. They did say it's going to come out in November, but there hasn't been a formal release date on it now, so I'm a bit worried about that one being a bit probably pushed back. But any ones of those are you going to excited Yeah, this
about?
Cookie Run game looks kind of cool. It's like an RPG type. You're like a gingerbread man. Not my gumdrop buttons. It looks kind of fun.
It looks really fun. I'm not gonna lie. The art style looks kind of cute. You know, give me like a Moss type kind of vibe, and but when I say Moss type of vibes, it's not a platformer though. Like you're in the world. You are the gingerbread person or
Yeah.
gingerbread man. You are like you're literally this the Shrek character gingerbread in a way, even though it's not. It's not a license scheme.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
basically that, and you are the
Just
gingerbread, and it's
generic gingerbread.
I think it'd be fun, and also I think it'd be really fun to play a game where your perspective is so low onto the ground. Like you're going to be a very
It's
small character, and I think that's going to be interesting. And it says the Darkest Night Chapter 1, which is
Dan,
really
you know what that
interesting.
means?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's probably chapter 2. Or at least, or the next one's just going to be the final chapter.
Maybe. Now, Cookie Run is a iOS game. I think it is a mobile game. It is like an endless runner on there. So I believe the characters and such all come from that world, and now
So
they're
there's some
doing
lore.
and now obviously they got the virtual reality one coming out, which is probably going to be very different. It looks like a full-on story game, so I'm actually excited for this one too. I'm not going to lie. And Stranger Things VR, I'm excited for this one just because I thought this was going to be a really bad game. I thought it would be a classic license. This is going to be a bad game, and it still could be. But the exciting part of me is like, okay, this was in the trailers for the Meta Quest 3, and the idea of having a mixed reality game. And when I mean by mixed reality game, I don't mean just in AR, because most of these games are like it's either AR or VR. I'm talking proper mixed reality where you've got your mixed elements in terms of you're in your room and such, and things are happening in your room, but then portals open to the underworld or upside down, and then you go into it, and then now you're in a VR
Like
world of
Yuki.
the upside down. Like Yuki, that I haven't really played. So
I got you. Like poor. Yeah, I got you.
so yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it sounds like first encounters, but you can actually step into that VR world instead of just seeing it. Instead of just seeing it, right? Which is very exciting for me too. So hopefully that does well. But there's Samson. That's 10 games right there. There's still a few that I missed out on this list. I just wanted to highlight 10 big ones here, and I feel like I might buy all of these, and if not get it, unless I
Careful,
get codes. Dan. I know, it's a problem. It's a problem. That means I'm not going to finish any of them. So I don't know.
Careful.
Let me know in the comments or in the Discord what you're excited to play for this November. It's a big month. I'm so excited. The VR is like currently at the space where it's like hitting its stride, and December is another massive month, which we'll cover obviously later on in a different podcast. Because there are some titans.
Probably near the end of November.
Maybe in the end of the month for sure. But anyway, that'll do for part one, a big part one, I guess. In part two, we'll go over the VR news. There's not much to go over, but we'll go over that, including some Arizona Sunshine and some Ghostbusters talk. So we'll see you then.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to part two of the VR news. Now, if you heard a lot of clicking right at the end of part one, that's because Samson has just bought a month of League Pass in preparation of the NBA. So just to continue on the NBA route, just so you know some details, we'll go over this really quickly. 52 games will be done over Quest, free through X Stadium. It's US only. Horizon will have a NBA Arena World, which they had last year, and it's coming back for November 17th. And I don't know for sure, but it feels like this is more now of going to be a permanent edition rather than just a temporary feature, because what it will do is it'll let you stream the NBA games in there, but you can also play interactive games. Like there's a slam dunk jam one, there's a basket blitz,
like an NBA arcade.
Yeah, with the game on in the background with your friends and such. It's a great idea. It's just obviously unfortunately, just for US, it would be cool if they could make this more of a thing. But I know licensing. But the thing is, NBA League Pass is worldwide. Like here in Canada, I can get NBA League Pass as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Horizon one will let you stream it if you have League Pass or something like that.
They do. They do have 7 days free. So when you sign up, you're not charged for the first 7 days. So if you want to try it out, there's your way.
And finally, you can buy your virtual NBA and WNBA apparel for your avatar if you want to. And I don't know about the NBA ones, but I know most of the stuff is around $3, right?
You got to really, really like both VR and your NBA team
to buy a cosmetic item for your avatar.
I'm not judging anybody who does it because I bought gun skins and breachers, but
same.
But yeah, you gotta really like both of those things. You gotta really like both of those.
Yeah, I was watching Upload VR's VR download podcast, and I think Ian Hamilton there, he was wearing a Hellfire Club from Stranger Things.
Yeah. That he mentioned.
And
that
he said it was $3. I think he said it was $3.99. So yeah, you gotta be really into it for that. I don't know why they just don't do it for free, but hey. People will buy them. All right, moving on. Arizona Sunshine 2, it finally got a release date, and we got some actual gameplay. We've not really had any gameplay at all, to be honest. I think a few content creators and media outlets got to see it a month ago and couldn't really say much about it. I know Upload VR had like an impressions earlier this month, but to be honest, the impressions was not much. Like it was just what you would expect. It was very quiet. So yeah, we've not had anything for ages, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of worried that the game wasn't gonna really be out this, because they did say maybe Q1 as well for 2024. But the gameplay has come out. It's like 5 minutes long on YouTube, and you can also let me just have a look here. You can pre-order. I think you can pre-order now. I'm not sure, but it's December 7th.
I pre-ordered it on Steam.
Yeah, so you can pre-order now, and it's December 7th. You can pre-order, I think, once again, you get some percentage off if you pre-order early on the Oculus Store as well for 10%.
10% off, I believe.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was a deluxe version and a regular version, at least on Steam. The deluxe version at 10% off was $54, and the regular version is $50. So I just did the deluxe because it was $4 extra.
So you've got that comes out December 7th. Bulletstorm comes out like a week after, I think, and Asgard's Wrath is also around then. So December's going to be, honestly, we got a lot of games to play over the.
Asgard's Wrath is next year, January, I think.
No. You said this last week too. That's when the offer ends.
No, it's got to be. Is it real? Do we confirm it?
Asgard's Wrath comes out in December. December the 6th. November the 15th.
November?
December the 15th. The 15th. And then Bulletstorm comes out pretty much that week or the week before. And also now you got Arizona Sunshine 2. You got 3 massive games.
Right,
and you're looking at almost $200.
This is why I'm not going to play Asgard's Wrath 2 until January.
Okay, maybe. We'll see about that. We'll talk about that on the pod. Just a few things to note with the Arizona 2 Sunshine 2 gameplay. It's a really fun trailer. It gives me kind of Dead Rising vibes, if anyone's played that on the 360 before. Dead Rising 1, 2, and 3, where there's just a horde of zombies and you can just use some weapons and go mad, basically, on how you want to slay those zombies. There was a wide variety of zombie types. It did look good, but the gameplay was PC VR, so unsure what the Quest 3 is going to look like, and if there's going to be an enhanced Quest 3 version rather than just a Quest 2 version and Quest 3 version. Unsure on that. You also have a dog called Buddy, or Buddy the dog, that can assist you.
Cute little guy.
Yeah, there is one scene where he's actually wearing a sombrero on, and he's sitting in the shopping cart as you're going around as well. And you see when the buddy takes out a zombie, there is a lot of blood on that dog. Now, I'm not sure, like I said, how that's going to translate to in the Quest 3 version, but the graphics on PC look really, really good and really gory as well. And you can actually have a undead version of Buddy the dog if you get the DLC or pre-order pack or something like that as well.
Yeah, it reminds me of After the Fall, but even more gory.
Yeah, in terms of the goriness, for sure. Not like After the Fall. It is primarily single player focused, but there is also co-op as well, so you can go through it
not in the
with
gameplay,
someone. Yeah, you can go with someone with in co-op as well, which it would be really fun. Now, like I said, the Ian Hamilton on Upload VR did a preview early this month, but there wasn't much in there. Okay, there was like basically it seems like it's going to be a story game, but there was no details on the story. There's nothing on customizable weapons as well as something that Dead Rising does. You can customize anything, so you can go in, you can duct tape a hacksaw to a chainsaw to
just make whatever you want,
baseball bat, and just use that if you wanted to. I don't think we're gonna have that, which kind of worries me. So here's the thing, right? Arizona Sunshine. That worries 2. You. Yeah, it worries me. So basically, Arizona Sunshine is a zombie game, right? We have a plethora of zombie games on Quest. It's just a zombie game, which I don't mind as long as it's kind of unique and such. So we have something like Walking Dead, for example, which does a zombie game really good. There's a good story behind it. Sure, there's a bunch of zombies. That's also like survival. Such, yeah, so it's more of a survival game with a big story arc in there as well, and really enjoyable game. Walking Dead. Then you have the other types of zombie games like Drop Dead the Cabin, for example, which is just you're just killing zombies, right? The horde mode of zombies and such.
It's a bit more cartoony, arcadey, yeah.
Yeah, so you got where does Arizona Sunshine 2 fit in? Because Arizona Sunshine 1 came out years ago, right? And that was very early on in VR's genre.
It's a co-op Walking Dead with a little more emphasis on story and less emphasis on crafting, but probably has some of that. But yeah,
so that's why I'm not sure how well this one will do where it comes out as well with Bulletstorm and with Asgard's Wrath around there too. Like,
I mean, it's got co-op. That's what it's got.
Co-op's going to be a big thing, yeah. Because when you watch the trailer. They have, or the gameplay trailer, you have Buddy the dog at one stage just on the bed because he looks like he's been hurt and such. So you can see there's like a good, probably a story arc in this game.
Emotional,
it's gonna be, it's going to be a very story driven game, and I'm wondering whether the choice of why go that route to do something more closer to Walking Dead than go the other route and do something more like, okay, this is a big world, there's zombies, and you can customize anything. There's more of a fun in that kind of sense.
It's kind of like, that's what Arizona Sunshine 1 was, right? It's like this.
Yeah.
It's like a story campaign. And there was a horde mode, so I imagine there might be some sort of horde mode.
I'm just wondering how well it will do in this climate, in VR. With this type
I think you need the single player campaign to get people like Mike or other people who enjoy a single player campaign and want that depth and that they can do alone. But people want to play with their friends sometimes, so that you're also allowing people to get that similar experience, but with a friend. Probably takes out a little bit of the immersion if you played with somebody, I imagine, unless you're both like role playing.
Could do.
But I don't know. And you're getting horde mode people who like that, like level up and leaderboard type of deal. Yeah, I don't know. The game looks freaking solid. If it's got decent gunplay, I mean, I don't know where it. And I'm not someone who cares if it's too short. So right, like if this thing's over 5 to 6 hours, or about 5-6 hours, I'm golden.
That's fine.
That's fine. Know what I mean? I imagine it'll be close to 8 to 10, but that's just a guess. That's just my gut. I don't really know. But yeah, that's long enough for a campaign for me.
I think when it comes to VR games, it's an interesting discussion, but I think when it comes to VR games in terms of campaigns, you don't need to have a more than 10-hour campaign. You can, but I don't think you need to, because I obviously people are different how they play VR. Coming from my own individual perspective, I don't play more than like maybe 45 minutes in VR at a time, or an hour at max, pretty much. And then I'll okay, I'm good. I'm gonna put put it on charge, go do something else, and I'll probably come back to it later on or something like that. It's not like PlayStation where I could sit there for like 2 hours and such. It's a it's a different kind. It's like more of a fatigue thing, more than anything. Even with Seventh Guest, like I do a room or two, and I'm like, okay, I'll come back to this again later on or something like that, right? And so that could be a potential issue with Asgard's Wrath 2 of being way too long for a mobile VR game, but
you might be able to take it in stints.
You might be able to take it in stints and such, yeah. So yeah, my only concern with Asgard's Wrath is that I'm not sure where Asgard's Wrath. I mean Arizona Sunshine 2 is that I'm not sure where it fits in the VR landscape. Like, is it too late for this type of game now, and we've all got kind of fatigue on these kind of games, or am I just wrong? And there's still a big draw for these type of zombie kind of shooters, story shooters or such, and
I don't think it's over. I mean, there's a lot of zombie games, there's a lot of rhythm games, etc. But a good one's always welcome. That's true. A good game, Dan.
Yeah, you're right. If this game is hands and downs as good as like a Walking Dead kind of game, then fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, moving on to Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord. Yeah, so this is the game that came out last week, and it was announced like a year or so ago, right? We had a big reveal at the Meta Gaming Showcase back in 2022. Then it got delayed a few times, and we finally got it a year and a half later from the initial announcement. And there was a bit of not controversy, but I guess a little bit of controversy as this was coming out, because some content creators were mentioning how they've not had keys, so they won't be able to review the game in time for launch. And it turns out that no one got a key at all until launch.
Yeah, onwards. I mean, it was basically they gave it to really big, like PlayStation Access got it. They have over 1 million.
Yeah. And it is, it's not really the developer's fault there. That's the publisher, that's Sony, who published this game. So it's kind of up to them more than anything. But sometimes when publishers don't really play nice with the media or creators in terms of, helping them by giving them a code earlier to get the review out on time, most of the time it's actually not a good news. That the game might not be that great, to start off with. And in this case, it seems like that's what's happened. So there's been a lot of reviews since the game came out. I think Upload VR did one, which is kind of like a review in progress. And I saw VR Oasis put out one earlier today or yesterday as well. And there's been a few people, saying stuff about their first experiences on the game. And right now it's been very mediocre with it. And just a couple of things to say about it, what other people have said. It feels like After the Fall with a Ghostbusters skin. You can play solo with an AI teammate, but this is a very much a co-op only game in a way. Like it's so much more fun that way. They said there's 4 different types of missions. You've got Harvester, which is locating a ghost machine, repairing it, and using it, which potentially, according to the Upload VR one, they said they had the most fun in that one. On the Clock is catch as many as you can in 10 minutes, as many ghosts you can. Your Exorcism, which is find and close a ghost portal. And then the Giga Trap Retrieval, which is find a Giga Trap and carry it across the map fighting against ghosts. That kind of sounds like Capture the Flag in a way. But yeah, one of the major issues that a lot of people have been saying on Twitter and the reviews is that it hardly links to the Ghostbusters world. There's no characters from the movies, or not from the new ones or the old ones. And the whole gameplay loop is very repetitive. So it's sitting on around 3 stars in the Oculus reviews, which is pretty big because Oculus reviews are normally 5 stars because people want to give their 25% code. But when you see
they don't let you do that anymore.
Do they not? I think I saw some potential still issues on
people.
Some of those,
people got to throw in spaces and whatnot.
Fair enough.
But yeah, this game seems like After the Fall similarity, and it's grindy, pretty repetitive.
So you did play it, right? You bought it.
No, I didn't play it.
You didn't play it.
I returned it. But
you didn't play it at all?
No, but I have played After the Fall.
Oh, fair enough.
And it felt similarly, where you're doing the same runs again and again.
Wait, I'm so confused. You said you bought it, but then returned it, but you didn't play it?
Yeah, That's what happened. What's confusing about that, Dan?
Why didn't you play a bit before you returned it? That's
Why
what's
play
confusing.
it? Yeah, why play it? Why? Because I didn't want to go over the
2 hours.
time. Yeah,
fair enough. I didn't know
and
if you wanted to hop in for 15 minutes.
I didn't want to make my friends like buy it and return it to just play with me.
Got it, because you needed people to be in there to really get the full experience. I thought you bought it for the mixed reality. That's why, for the little ghosts.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Fair enough. Sorry, continue. So I got confused.
I don't know that it's worth it.
But yeah, it's After the Fall essentially. Is what
I did hear the mixed reality game part of it was pretty good though.
Yeah, I guess that's one stage. So you'd not the reason why you returned it, was it more just because of the co-op, or
it was more just I was upset, Dan. I was just upset. I was like, damn it! I wanted this one to be good. I wanted to hop into it, and I've got other co-op games I've been playing, so maybe I'll get it further down the line somewhere. But I didn't really.
Fair enough. It's a shame. I mean, it's okay. It's one game out of a lot. You know, if we've got a lot of games coming through, as you see, like if this was the same with Assassin's Creed, it'd be very disappointing. But the writing was on the wall in the end of the day, with the codes and such. So it is what it is. But it's a shame. Yeah, I think
there's some people out there enjoying it though. Yeah, Alan returned it too.
Yeah, so I think Alan, Patreon and friend of the show, he said that he submitted a refund for Ghostbusters. He said the game was not enjoyable and so repetitive. No wonder the devs didn't release the keys. But yeah, they said they have totally sold out their main target audience, but it's all about the book, which is a shame. So yeah. Just looking at other Discords, but yeah, that was a big one. So yeah, unfortunately, Ghostbusters not really coming. I don't know how they fix it. To be honest, I feel like there's no fundamental thing wrong with the game. I think it's just the actual game itself or what direction they took it. I think it would be much more fun if they went, this is a Ghostbusters like original story or something like that.
Yeah, I wish I had a story.
Yeah, if they did that instead, right, and did a story and this is a co-op, then it would have probably been better. I mean, kind of what Arizona Sunshine 2 is doing, I guess. They've gone story rather than just a repetitive gameplay. So maybe I'm wrong about Arizona Sunshine as I'm talking. Kind of they went those route that I'm thinking.
Imagine if Ghostbuster was like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I've just contradicted my whole statement of what I said, and I should just edit it out. But yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe Ghostbusters have just tried that way, and in the end of the day, the story based is going to be the winner here potentially. So yeah, it's a shame that it didn't do well, especially for Ghostbusters fans. But don't worry.
Now I do kind of want to play that mixed reality, Dan.
Well, you can't. If you buy it now, you can't re-return it. You can only do that once. So
everybody gets one. Yeah,
everybody gets one.
Wait for a sale.
So you're done now. No, just you had your chance, and you never buy this game again. You had your chance. All right, that will do for part 2. In part 3, we'll go over the 3 games that are out this month, which you've kind of heard about already, but we'll do our normal readouts like we always do. So we'll see you in part 3. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part 3, games out this month. Samson, take it away. What is the first game that is technically already out by the time you're listening to this, but what is the first game?
The Foglands, out now. The Foglands is an atmospheric 3D roguelike shooter where you'll discover new paths and uncover old secrets, run into the unknown, fight monsters, scavenge loot, and try to make it back before you're swallowed by the fog. Explore the Foglands, rowdy bar fight action, a mysterious tale, scavenge and grow.
Yeah, this is a game that I was excited about when it was announced for PlayStation VR originally, but then I have not heard... Yeah, but it's not Quest 3 too. But I've not heard anything about it since. Like, there's not been any gameplay. Not even Sony have put out anything on it, to be honest. So it will be out by the time I said everyone's listening to this, but I'm just curious that would this be more of a Ghostbusters kind of thing and not deliver, or it's weird. We've just not got anything about it. Where there's a lot of games that are coming out in November that we've had so much
Sounds cool.
about.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds cool. The art style looks good. I just don't know if it'll be.
Roguelikes are hit or miss. I mean, sometimes they're fun, and then I just like never beat them. Like Ancient Dungeon, that one was fun, but I don't know. And Sweet Surrender, also fun. I don't know that I'm gonna necessarily complete it. If you get, it's possible if you're into those, you know, you play them over and over until you finish them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next on the list is Power Wash Simulator VR, out November 2nd. All would be washers who pre-order PWSVR before launch. This doesn't make any sense. I copied this directly from the Quest store. Okay, I'm just going to read it out. All will be washers who pre-order the PWSVR. Okay, this makes sense. Power Wash Simulator VR before launch will receive an exclusive in-game cosmetic, a pair of super cute cat-themed gloves so that you can purr as the power washer goes burr. Brr. Grab hold of your power washer in the super soothing simulator that has taken the world by storm. Power Wash Simulator VR is coming out on Meta Quest 2 and 3 and Pro. Release the pressure. New features tailored for Meta Quest, co-op multiplayer, and clean up the neighborhood. There are more descriptions in there, but I like to just put the bullet points that they've said and not tell you everything else because it's kind of fun. I got really confused there because it said PWSVR, and I was like,
I could tell.
Is it meant to say PSVR? So I deleted the W, and then I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense, and now it made sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I knew what it stood for.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough.
Vampire the Masquerade. Become a vampire, strike from the darkness, and drink the blood of your prey. Use stealth, persuasion, and an arsenal of upgradable abilities to sneak past enemies, undetected or punish the guilty in the seedy back streets of Venice. Vampire the Masquerade Justice is an open-ended narrative adventure RPG set in the World of Darkness universe. You have the power to strike fear into the hearts of criminals as an untraceable shadow, picking off targets one by one. Stealth is your weapon. Become a powerful vampire. Level up and explore.
Yeah, I hope this is similar to Dishonored 2 on the flat screen consoles, because that is a really good stealth game. Obviously, there's action elements too, but it's more stealth action. You're jumping around, and it's kind of like vampire-esque feels.
I never played that one.
Dishonored 2 is fantastic. Really good game. Highly recommend it. You don't have to play the first one. You'll have a great time. But yeah, I hope it's something like that. But I will play it just so I can talk about it on the podcast next week. And I'll try and play Journey to the Foundation and Stride as well, which I think is coming out, which I didn't put on this list. Try. But Seventh Guest just has me under wraps right now. So, but I will try and play those so I can talk about them next week. Now, question is for you, Samson, who's pre-ordered both Vampire Masquerade and Power Wash. What are you jumping into first?
I'll find the time for it all.
But what's the first one that you click?
I'll be at work when they both install.
That's not the question. The question is what you press in first.
I don't know. And then I come home from work because they come out on Thursday. Gun to your head. Wait, isn't Masquerade come out before Power Wash?
Good question. I don't know. Both come out
on
November 2nd.
I thought it was when they came out the day before.
No, both come out on November 2nd.
That was the Foglands that comes out the day before.
Yeah, Foglands comes out on the 31st, on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you'll just have to keep listening to find out which one I play first.
That's a cop-out answer, I say. That's a cop-out answer. I think so. Perfect. All right, that will do for our mega show here as Samson's rustling up his snacks. What's going on there? Thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks everyone listening on the Discord and such. Just jump in, and if there's any games that anyone wants to play, let us know in the All About Multiplayer Discord. But until next week, we will see you then. Samson, sign us off.
I will. You are almost there.